We don't do it for the name that's on the back. We just do it for the logo on the front. All that clout chasing, we don't run with that. We just put the whole squad on the hunt, yeah. Yeah, we bleed for the shield, never for the self. True success ain't the trophy on the shelf. It's the logo on the front, not the name on the back. Yeah, we stay on attack.
I'm Dr. Cassie Preston. My job as a mental performance coach is to help elite athletes, just like you, to consistently perform at your capabilities. But in order to do that, you need to reliably get in the zone. The problem is, like most athletes, you spend too much time in your own head, worrying, overthinking, and are doubting yourself. This can be frustrating and discouraging because you've put in all this work to develop your physical abilities. Your mindset is causing you to underperform. Now, I understand that working on your mindset can be difficult and confusing. There's so much cliche advice out there like, don't worry about it and just be positive, which might be the mental state you want to achieve, but it's not the how-to. In fact, this fluffy cookie cutter advice often makes things worse. Instead, what you need to do is challenge the status quo and think differently about success and failure. That's why I wrote the best-selling book, Mindset First, to provide athletes like you a repeat and reliable way to win the mental game. I share the concise and practical strategies I use to help professional athletes be at their best day in and day out. This book will help you break free from the weight of results so you can stop spending so much time in your own head and start playing with confidence so you can perform when it matters most. And most importantly, I promise you this, by reading this book and working on your mental game, you're going to have a heck of a lot more fun along the way.
Continuing our live coverage on day 4 of the 2026 Continental Clash here on the World Sports Broadcasting Network. As we say, good morning everyone, Thomas Wersay, glad to be here with you for the second to last day of round robin play here at the Clash. And today is a big game for the Minnesota Machine as they will look to jump back into first place as First Class Alberta victorious in their game just mere moments ago. They have now overtaking sole possession of first place. So Minnesota needs a win in regulation to jump back into first after today's competition. But today they go up against the Montreal Kings Academy, who enter with a 5-1 record, currently sitting in a playoff position heading in to this contest. A win for them in regulation could potentially see them jump up into the top 3. So big game for both clubs. Another marquee matchup here in Pierrefonds. Minnesota, the only undefeated team remaining in the tournament. They are 6-0 in competition. And of course, they were taken to the limit yesterday against that same First Class Alberta team. But Minnesota won it in overtime on a point shot deflected on goal by Charles Kelly, while the Montreal Kings have found themselves in quite a good amount of success over the last little while. They opened with a tough 6-2 loss to Connecticut to open the competition, but since then they have dominated. 4 wins in a row, scoring 6 or more in all 4 of those games, taking down House, Team Finland, East Coast Kings, and Battery Hockey Academy. So Montreal is riding a heat wave into this contest, while the Minnesota Machine, looking to stay as hot as they have ever been, looking to punch their ticket to the playoffs. We'll step out for a quick break. When we come back, first period puck drop between the Machine and the Kings here on our continuing coverage of day 4 of the Continental Clash on the World Sports Broadcasting Network.
Yeah. We don't do it for the name that's on the back. We just do it for the logo on the front. All that clout chasing, we don't run with that. We just put the whole squad on the hunt, yeah. Yeah, we bleed for the shield, never for the self. True success ain't the trophy on the shelf. It's the logo on the front, not the name on the back. Yeah, we
Back at Pierrefonds as we get ready for first period puck drop between the Machine and the Kings on a beautiful but cloudy Friday morning here in Montreal. Sounds like a bit of an oxymoron, but it is great weather outside, and the temperature is sure to heat up here inside the Sportsplex Pierrefonds. Today's starting goaltenders, Tanner Brick gets the nod to start off the game. We'll see if the Machine stick with their strategy of switching goaltending halfway through regulation, while on the Montreal side, the very impressive Ludovic Lachance will get things started for Montreal. Jackson Denton set to take the opening draw against Mason Thang. And with that, we're underway between the Kings and the Machine. Glad you could be spending your Friday morning with us here in Montreal. Mason Thang entering the zone. Pass it out in front. Look there for Guff, nicely broken up by the Kings defense. Alec Bouchard. Thang for Minnesota. Behind the net, Minnesota serving as the visiting team today, wearing their orange as they have all tournament long, while Montreal wearing their home blacks with the Montreal City outline rounding the waistband. Sent to the right wing for Cio Pare, On the line, Pare just able to play it back to center. Louis Sweeney gets the return pass from Brayden Liu. Now White. Up ahead for Charles Kelly, the OT winner yesterday morning to preserve the 5-0 undefeated record. Now 6-0 are the Machine. And of course the state of Minnesota, the reigning Continental Class champions, the Minnesota Blades, won the tournament last year. So Minnesota Machine looking to make it back-to-back years for the state of hockey. Great defensive play made there by a diving Seeger Patton to break up a scoring chance. Now picked up by Maverick White. White skates it in. White from the right-hand side takes the shot, and just offside at the line. Welcome to all those tuning in from Quebec and from the state of hockey. Glad to have you with us as we're a minute 31 deep into the first period. Minnesota, Montreal, our second game of 4 here on ice pad number 1. And now Montreal well offside there as one of the Kings attackers came in well too soon. Got a good burst of speed, but got to stay behind the puck if you want to create that ozone chance. Jaden Lalonde to take the draw for Montreal. He does not win it. Ryan Renner. Douglas Benjamin into the zone. Renner patrolling the blue line along with Louis Sweeney. Along the boards. Sent in deep by Teddy Becker. He's behind the net. One out in front. Picked off by Montreal, but Minnesota gets it right back. Quick pass in front. One-timer chance for Teddy Becker. And another look at the goal line, but it hits the post. Play out of the zone by Montreal. Looking to get reset. Great pace to start the game. There go the Kings. Brody Glowacki across the line. He'll just dump it in. Picked up by Charles Kelly. Kelly to the left wing for Zachary Silva. Drops it off for Thang. For Silva. Zach Silva around the back of the net. Zach Silva out in front, looking for Harrison Guff, but nicely broken up by the Montreal defense. Sweeney back across the line. The big Jason D'Almeida. Back to the line, held in by Brayden Liu. He'll get it in deep. Picked up though by Rakan Boris. Boris, nice chip play off the wall. Back to get it is Liu, who takes it around the back of the net. Guff. To the right side, Kelly returning it behind the net. Miscommunication from the Machine. Sweeney. Racing it in. Louis Sweeney with speed. Gains the ozone and wraps it around the boards. 3.5 gone in the first period. So far scoreless in the early ongoing. Good pace for both teams. Minnesota with the first couple of high danger scoring chances. Pass to the middle. Here's Stanton on a Minnesota line change. Jackson Danton's in. Danton on the backhand hits the post. A great look for Montreal. Now both teams have run the iron. Behind the net, it's Kelly. Charles Kelly trying to sprint it forward for Mav White, but broke it up on a good play by Eloy Sear. Pass comes back to center, picked off by Desjardins for Danton. Danton poke checked by Mace Wedderbrand on a good play. Behind the net goes Alec Bouchard. Now it's Maverick White. Chip play off the wall, not able to get it out. Kept in by the Kings. Here's Bouchard with a shot. That one just missing. 4.5 gone in period one. Kelly dances his way in, pressured by Chiasson. Lalonde weaves to the middle. Jadon Lalonde shooting off the bottom of the glove of Brick. Close call there for Minnesota. Play back at the line, but delayed offside forces Montreal to retreat. Get back into the zone. Shot comes from Liam Roy, just missing. Kept at the line by Chiasson. And now it's chipped off the boards, and Minnesota able to get it out. Not for long. Having a hard time maintaining possession. Good play from Chiasson to chip it up the wall, but picked off by Steger Patton. And Montreal will see the machine make changes. They'll look to take advantage. Glowacki spun around back to the line, and the Kings will chip it to center. Officially a third of the way through our first period. Montreal and Minnesota in the marquee matchup this morning. Both teams in playoff position, while the Minnesota Machine looking to get back into first place, which has been overtaken by first-class Alberta. Here's Mason Thang, weaving in with a nice move, trickles towards the net, and we get a face-off that will come to the left of Ludovic Lachance. Face-off coming up to the left of Lachance. And the face-off won by Montreal. Sear around the boards. Gallup able to chip it out. This might have enough for icing. It's rolling, and it will just get there. Face-off coming back in the Montreal zone, this time to the right of Ludovic Lachance. Chipped off the boards, good play by Alexis Rindeau just to clear the zone. Zach Silva dumping it in. Now picked up by Rockin Boris. Around the boards, kept it at the line. Long range shot from Renner, kicked away by Lachance. Dalmeida turned it over. Silva with the shot in tight. And a good stop again by Lachance. Centering pass, Sweeney tried to chip it forward, but brought back in by Montreal. Alexis Rindeau lost the handle. Minnesota on a breakaway. Mason Thang scores! Mason Thang! Minnesota opens the scoring. Mason Thang got a break on a Montreal line change, and Mason Thang makes it 1-0 Minnesota. Mason Thang with the unassisted icebreaker at 8-12, and the Machine are in front first. Alec Bouchard fires it back in. Behind the net, Liu. Liu looking up the wing along with Mav White. Puck rimmed off the top of the glass, but does stay in play. Steger Patton. Beautiful move by him. Patton enters the zone. Patton waiting, shooting. Pat save LaChance, the rebound. It's blocked in front. Minnesota gets it back. Maverick White with a nice move. He'll shoot off the post. Maverick White with a nice scoring chance, but reining the iron. Braden Liu from his own end as we're halfway through the opening period, and Mason Thane has put Minnesota in front. Chipped up the wall. Brody Glowacki for Montreal. Being hunted down here. Got to make a play, and he does. Bouchard ahead for Roy. Now here's Jaden Lalonde with a shot. That one just missing. Back to the line. Manette tried to throw it on goal, but no one able to redirect it. Charles Kelly trying to chip it out of the zone, and he will. On a hand pass. Mason Thane with his 9th goal of the tournament. What a tournament that young man is having for Minnesota. The neutral zone draw won by Minnesota at their own blue line. Trying to chip that one off the wall was Hellquist, but he lost it. Puck comes back in front. Big save by Tanner Brick. High pressure chance for Montreal, but the stone wall of Tanner Brick keeping it out. 6:25 left to go in period 1. A 1-0 Minnesota lead for those just joining us. Moved out of the zone by Minnesota. Harrison Guff across the line. Guff taken in the boards by Dalmeida. He's around the back of the net again. Guff cannot get around Dalmeida. He'll wrap it around the boards, but Sweeney holds it in. Sweeney looking back behind the net, picked off by Dalmeida. For Gallup. To the line, Sweeney holds it in. Thrown again to the line, this time Sweeney cannot hold it in. Redirected, so no icing as Brick will be forced to play it. Chipped off the boards. Guff just enough to get it out. Brought back in by Montreal. Liam Roy. Gallup for Tyler Parquet, who shoots. Good save made by Tanner Brick. Minnesota trying to clear. At the line, Marquette is trying to weave around the blue line, but unfortunately put his team on a delayed offside situation. Louis Sweeney firing it in as we're approaching the final 5 minutes of the opening frame. Comes along the boards, a bit of a dangerous play for Montreal as Sweeney reads it. Whatterbrand sending it up. Backhand comes in front from White. Now a slapper from Steger Patton just went wide. Now we are inside the final 5 of period 1. On the board, Sear. For Sio Pare. Sears lost a stick. Centered for Bouchard. He'll fire it up. Montreal on a Minnesota defensive zone turnover, but Louis Sweeney picks it back up. For Maverick White. White skates it in. White from the high slot, his shot blocked. A chance now for Wetterbrand. Floated on goal and covered by Ludovic Lachance. Still a 1-0 lead for the Machine with 4:20 left in period 1. Face off to the left of Lachance. And it is won by the Kings. Flipped a little bit too high. That one goes into the mesh and out. So we'll do it again to the left of Lachance. Face off, won by Montreal again, but Minnesota gets possession. Chance for Liam Roy to clear it out. Just able to find Jaden Lalonde. Lalonde with a good pick play, but now he's lost the handle. Picked up by Gabmanette. Picked up by Patton. Potential 3-on-2 for Minnesota. Patton weaves to the left side. Patton surveys his options. Beautiful move. Patton. Another move. Patton's in. Save made by LaChance off of Decker Benjamin. Back to the line. Teddy Becker. His shot just deflecting wide off a Montreal defender. Chipped back up by the Kings, but read by Patton, who fires it back in. 3:25 left in the opening period. Around the boards. Turning it over is Paquette. Pass comes in front for Thang. Almeida clears to the line, but not out. Held in by Steger Patton. Behind the goal for Guff. Around for Thang. Thang. His pass deflected off a stick and in the air. But Zach Silva gets it back for Minnesota. Back to the line with 3 to go. Long range shot deflected well wide. Picked up behind the net. Montreal trying to clear, and they do. Picked back up and fired in by Hellquist, but goes out of play. 2:45 remaining. 1-0 Minnesota. Each team playing a game today and tomorrow to finish off their 8 games of round robin play. So a nice shortened day for everyone before the grind and the semifinal kick in tomorrow. Of course, in the playoffs, 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. We'll see who finishes in the top 4. Picked up by Maverick White, walking in on a tightrope. Save made by LaChance. Good look there for Mav White. Sit behind the net. Wedderbrand. Around the boards, now picked up by Sweeney. Taking a shot there is Wedderbrand while falling. Now another shot comes from the slot. Maverick White stopped by the pad of LaChance. Moved out of the zone. Liam Roy lost the handle on it. Now pass to the left side for Bouchard. He's got a bit of room, but he's got to get the puck first. Bouchard waiting, spins it back down low for Sio Pare. Pare taken down by Louis Sweeney. Comes to the side, it's still loose. Falling shot for Bouchard just goes wide. 100 seconds left in period 1. Sweeney over to start the breakup for Minnesota, and he has, but now has his pocket picked by Alec Bouchard. Soft backhander, broken up, fired back in. Minnesota gets it back. Charles Kelly for Wedderbrand. Wedderbrand weaving left side, cutting to the net, will curl back for Kelly. To the line, Patton back to Kelly near left side. Throws it across, wide open, Benjamin! Or Briliou, denied by LaChance. Final minute of the opening period. Chiasson wraps it around the glass, not enough to get out. Patton holds it in. And now picked off in a one-on-one. Liam Roy against Liu. Roy is in, but the puck fired wide. Roy around the back of the net. Being pressured as Decker Benjamin in the corner, picked up by the Kings. Fired back to the line, but broken up by Mace Wedderbrand. Wedderbrand will gain the red line and fire it in. 15 seconds left in the period. Back by Patton, but redirected up and out of play with 11.6 left in period 1. 2 other games coming up. Sty House taking on the Quebec Hockey Club at 11, and then at 12:30, the Boston Hockey Club taking on the Manitoba All-Stars to close out day 4. Face off, won by Minnesota with 10 seconds left in the period. It's Zach Silva. Curls back in the corner, throws it up in front. Picked off by Montreal, and that will do it for period number 1. Mason Thang with his 9th of the tournament. And the Machine are up 1-0 after 1 period of play here in day 4 of the Continental Clash.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't do it for the name that's on the back. We just do it for the logo on the front. All that clout chasing, we don't run with that. We just put the whole squad on the hunt. Yeah, we bleed for the shield, never for the self. True success ain't the trophy on the shelf. It's the logo on the front, not the name on the back. Yeah, we stay on attack.
Back here at the Sportsplex Pier phone as we get ready for the second period. Mason Thane with the lone goal so far, scoring his 9th of the tournament. Got to be in the running for MVP. He has been fantastic. And we're all ready to go for the second period. Minnesota will now attack from left to right. Montreal from right to left. Great pace to start this one off. We expected a good one, and we are getting just that. Both teams ready to go. Mason Thane and Tyler Paquette. Puck is down in period 2 underway. Here from ice pad number 1. Zach Silva lost the handle on it. Thane gets it back. Across for Guth. Guth will skate it in for Minnesota. Guth on the right wing. Powering around the back of the net. Guth back to the line, but too hot to handle for Eli Hellquist, who's got to get on his horse. Christian Gallup is going to beat him to it. Picked up at the blue line. Sent in by Alexi Rendot. Pass comes in front. Just sent wide by Ty Paquette. First big defensive gaffe by Minnesota. Thang behind the net. Sear able to wrap it around. Hellquist pinching. Trying to hold it in. Paquette lost the handle on it. Mason Thane from the corner. Walking to the top of the circle. Tried to spin and fire on goal, but it was blocked by Zach Silva. Silva picked off. Here come the Kings the other way. Christian Gallup. Gallup is in. Pressured by Hellquist. On the boards. Held in by Rendot. Picked up. Gallup out in front. Looking there for Rendot, but nullified. And now Minnesota the other way. 1-on-2. With speed, it's Guth with a shot. Nice playoff save made by Ludovic Lachance. Our first stoppage of period 2 with 1:37 gone. Again, a big game for both clubs. Minnesota with a win will go back to first place, but they need a win in regulation. And they're going to redo the face-off as Montreal was not finished with their line change. Face-off will be redone. And it is Montreal clearing it out of the zone just barely. Siopare for Danton. Jackson Danton trying to hustle in, taken down, and no call. On the back of the net. Decker Benjamin. Benjamin can't chip it around Bouchard. Get back in the Montreal zone. Danton. Now it's Easton Silva up the wing, taken into the wall by Bouchard, and a penalty is coming to Montreal. Body contact on Alec Bouchard, and Minnesota will head to the first power play of the hockey game. Faceoff will come to the right of Ludovic Lachance. Along the wall, Minnesota goes to work. Sweeney fires, blocked in front. Back to the line, Sweeney swings it across. Sweeney again. Thang, walking, firing, save, Lachance, rebound, still loose. Montreal will clear it. Minute 25 left in the power play for Minnesota. Maverick White through the middle, lost the handle on it, picked back up by Roy, lots of time to clear. Kelly behind his goal with a minute 10 left in the power play. Racing in, Mason Thang with speed. Thang around the back of the net, back to the line. Finds Louis Sweeney but can't hold the line. Picked back up by Sweeney. Looking to start the rush. Montreal, late change. Sweeney looking for Guff. Guff left wing, down low Sweeney. Sweeney. Kelly to the line. Maverick White unloads. Blocked in front, it's still loose. Ludovic Lachance has got it and will hold. And a penalty coming to Minnesota. And that will even things out. A head contact penalty. And the face-off is won by Minnesota. Throw it around the boards. Montreal are going to get set. 10 seconds left on the Montreal penalty. Minnesota will be 0 for 1 and now are heading to their first penalty kill. Not across the line, but just offside. Harrison Guth still in the box. Face off just outside of the Minnesota line. One in control by Montreal. Fired from the right side. Sio Pare just missing. On the wall, they continue to take it. Comes free with a minute 10 left in the Harrison Guth penalty. Gallup looking, cross-ice pass broken up. Still behind the net. 5 minutes gone in the period, cleared to the line and kept in by Eloy Cyr. What a play by him. Third of the way through the second period. Dumped around the boards. Centered out in front, here's Ty Paquette looking to shoot, blocked by the Machine defense and cleared to the neutral zone. Desjardins across the line. Soft backhand broken up by Minnesota and just cleared out of the zone again. Cyr. Off the right wing. Brought in by Montreal. Here's Paquette with an opening. He'll fire into the glove of Tanner Brick. And holding on to it will be the Minnesota netminder. 9:26 left in period number 2. And 19 seconds left in the Montreal power play, their first of the contest. Picked up by the Kings. Looking around the back of the net, time running out on the power play, picked off, and Minnesota will clear it. And that will kill off the remaining portion of the Montreal power play back to full strength. And it remains 1-0 for the Machine. Roy, centered for Lalonde. Now Kelly. Charles Kelly is in, he'll shoot, deflecting. Up and out of play. .847 left to go in the first period. And the face-off to the right of Ludovic Lachance. Face-off won by Montreal. Wrapped around the boards. They can't clear it out. It's held in by Hellquist. Bouchard, keep it his own zone, coughed it up. Trying to look to the line was Maverick White, but lost it. Bouchard for Montreal on the left wing. Bouchard shot goes off the shoulder of White, stays in play. Behind the net, Cio Pare trying to center it, but was unable to. Around the boards, Danton. Danton to Almeida at the line. His shot deflected wide. Minnesota clearing it back to center. Back is Racken Boris. Almeida off the wall but not out. Held in by Hellquist. Continue to dig. White sets it up for Kelly. Now here's Mace Winterbrain with a shot. Lachance to save. The puck is still loose. And play whistled down as the net is dislodged. Minnesota almost made it 2-0, but with the net dislodged, the face-off will come to the right of Lachance. And we get our goaltending change. Tanner Brick. What another incredible performance from him. And now here comes Asa Olstedvolk to take over the rest of this one. As we're now officially halfway through regulation, still 1-0 Minnesota. Sweeney holds the line. Chip down low. Chipped and down. But Montreal will not have enough for icing. Renner for Easton Silva. Tried to look for Benjamin, but picked up by the Kings. Chipped up the wall. Tyler Paquette for Montreal with 7 to go in the second period. Paquette round the end wall. Lost the handle. Up the wall. Benjamin. Decker Benjamin wisely chipping it down low to complete a change. He'll find Mason Thang. Good backhand pass. It's Renner. Just missing the net, but shot registered. As making the glove save will be Ludovic Lachance. And Zach Silva in some discomfort after the play was stopped. Face off. Controlled again by Minnesota. Manette can't clear the line, held in by Steker Patton. 6:20 left in the period. Zach Silva nearly found a loose puck, but now the Kings move it out. Gabriel Manette. Manette. Into the corner he goes. Behind the net, pass comes in front. Set up for Jaden Lalonde was not quite where they wanted it to be. Racing in, Harrison Guth. Guth, beautiful cross-ice pass, found Thang. Thang, wide open pass, here's Guth. Great save by Lachance. What a pass by Thang to set up Guth, who was wide open. It's back behind the net with 5:40. left in period 2. Thang, beautiful move. Lost it on the poke check by Jaden Lalonde. Second in the middle for Manette. Will fire it in. Montreal, needs a change, but so does Minnesota. 1-2 line pass for Charles Kelly to the bench. Thankfully, did not have too many men on the ice, as Guth was ready to head off, but he was the 5th man. Turnover by Charles Kelly. Now recollected by Mav Wright, who takes a tumble, and a hand pass will bring play to a stop. Faceoff will come just outside of the Minnesota blue line. Faceoff in front of the Montreal bench. And the faceoff won by the Kings. Kelly chipped off the glass. And back towards the Montreal blue line as Almeida having to get on his horse. And he'll chip it back to the neutral zone. Danton trying to race up with Bouchard. Bouchard on the right wing. Centering for Danton. Danton on the backhand. He scores! Jackson Danton with a backhand top shelf. And Montreal has tied it at 1 with 4:31 left in period number 2. What a backhander from Jackson Danton, as he picked that top corner just over the glove of Asa Olstad-Volk. And this game is brand new. Up the right wing, Christian Gallup enters. Around the boards, Braden Liu. Manette, good pass. Montreal with pressure in. Just kicked away. Gallup right there on the doorstep, but could not tap it in. Raindeau couldn't maintain possession. Louis Sweeney for Minnesota, 2-on-2. With Becker joining, shoots on goal. Lachance will hold. Face off to the right of Lachance. 3:54 left to go in period 2. Mason Thane opened the score for Minnesota, but Jackson Danton tied it just mere moments ago, and here's another shot from the machine that just misses. And we've got a penalty coming, and it's going to be against Minnesota. Holding the stick on Mason Thang. Back to the power play goes Montreal, and a chance to grab their first lead of the game. Late change by Montreal as power play about to kick in. Dan going to be asked to step out. Face off to the right of Olstad-Volk. Controlled by Dalmeida. Back to the line, Manette. Manette. Across, Cheasson. Fires it back to the far corner. Danton, the goal scorer. Back to the line. Cheasson. Shooting through a crowd. It's loose. Covered by Olstad-Volk. Face off to the right of Asa Olsted Volk. 1:38 left on the power play for Montreal. Face off. Won by Montreal. Domeda to the line. Cheasson. Cheasson waiting. Didn't like what he saw, so he'll wrap it behind the net. Danton out in front. Great pass! What a save by Asa Olsted Volk. Rebound. Score! Gabriel Manette. Montreal leads it for the first time today.
Good job!
On a mad scramble after Olsted Volk made a great save, Manette fires it top shelf. 2 unanswered from the Kings, and Montreal leads it with 2:54 left in period number 2. Drawn in by Paquette. Paquette taken into the wall. Staying with it, comes in front dangerously. Minnesota will move it out. Backhand just out of the reach of Kelly. Sear for Alexis Rindeau. Rindeau had his pocket picked and now gets held on to, and a penalty is coming to Minnesota.
Back at the point.
And things starting to unravel for the machine as Alexis Rindeau drawing the penalty as Eli Hellquist wrapping his opponent up and make it a 3rd consecutive power play. Another power play for the Kings. 3rd consecutive time. It's still loose, and now it squirts free. Picked off and cleared by Kelly. Through the middle, Thane in a foot race with Manette. And he gets taken down. Up for Dalmeda. Liu. Less than 2 to go in period 2. Thrown around the boards.
Let's go, Jackson!
Cheasson for Jackson Denton. He's hauled down. And another penalty to Minnesota. And it's now a 5-on-3. Minnesota continues the parade to the penalty box. And it's now 5-on-3 for the Kings. And Montreal is going to use its timeout. Montreal has scored 2 unanswered, and now they are on a 5-on-3 with 1:46 to go in the second. We'll step out. Remainder of the second coming up next on the World Sports Broadcasting Network.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't do it for the name that's on the back. We just do it for the logo on the front. All that clout chasing, we don't run with that. We just put the whole squad on the hunt. Yeah, we bleed for the shield, never for the self. True success ain't the trophy on the shelf. It's the logo on the front, not the name on the back. Yeah, we stay on attack.
Back in Montreal as 1:20 of a 5-on-3 about to kick in for the Montreal Kings. This is the 4th consecutive penalty to the machine. Face off to the right of Oswaldstedt. Volk, good start for Minnesota. They get it down. Pass to the right side for Christian Gallup. Paquette. Gallup. Beautiful cross-ice pass just out of the reach of Sear. Minute 20 left in the period. Here's Paquette. Blocked in front. They score! Christian Gallup. Back-to-back power play goals for Montreal. It's 3-1 Kings. Minnesota finds themselves in a 2-goal hole with a minute 15 left in period 2, and Montreal is still on the power play for a minute 29. Gallup through the middle. Ringo! It's loose! They score again! Tyler Paquette! 3 unanswered on the power play. A 3-goal lead for Montreal. And a goaltending change. Tanner Brick is being put back in. And Montreal has Minnesota on the ropes. Can you believe this? For the first time in the tournament, the Machine are down by 3. The face-off won by Minnesota. They need a goal and quick here in the final minute of period 2. Charles Kelly. Kelly picked off by Danton. Chip back in. Kelly walking, firing, the save by Lachance. This Montreal team has turned heads, and they are in front big. .2 left in the second. Face-off won by Montreal, cleared to the line, held in. Brady Liu's shot is blocked by Paquette. 30 seconds left in period 2. And Montreal has caught everybody by surprise. Push forward by Desjardins with 15 seconds left. Across for Patton. Up the wing. Sear with 10 seconds left. Paquette almost got a piece of it. Liu with 5 seconds left. He'll just take it up the wing. And period 2 ends with Montreal leading by 3. 15 minutes to go as Montreal up 3 on Minnesota. With a win, they will take second place heading in to Saturday. We'll step out and get you ready for the third period here on the World Sports Broadcasting Network's continuous coverage of the Continental Clash.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't do it for the name that's on the back. We just do it for the logo on the front. All that clout chasing, we don't run with that. We just put the whole squad on the hunt. Yeah, we bleed for the shield, never for the self. True success ain't the trophy on the shelf. It's the logo on the front, not the name on the back. Yeah, we stay on attack.
Back in Pierrefonds. 4-1 Montreal. Mason Thane opened the scoring for the Machine, but the Kings have responded with 4 unanswered. And Tanner Brick, who started the game, was taken out for Erlstad Volk. And now Brick will look to clean it up for Minnesota. The Machine have not trailed by double digits, or by multiple goals in the tournament, I should say. And this is the first instance of that. And the third period is underway as Montreal looking to pull it off. They got 15 miles to go. Hellquist can't hold the line. Here's the shot. Theo Pare stopped by Tanner Brick. You can feel the tension here in Pierrefonds. So much on the line for both teams. Minnesota looking to get back into first, but if Montreal pulls it off, they will overtake them for second in the standings. Held in at the line. Shot towards the net. It's loose. They score! Jackson Denton. 5 unanswered. And Montreal has opened it up. 28 seconds into period 3. Coming into day 4, I don't think anyone could have seen this coming. 5-1 Montreal. Here they come again. Monette broken up. Play carrying on while the net is dislodged. The official tried to put it back on, but Montreal still had possession. What a game here on a Friday morning in Stade Montreal. Face-off just outside of the line. Picked up by Lalonde, just offside. Face-off, won by Montreal again. Roy, tried to set it down low, picked up by Minnesota. Becker, trying to get it up the wing. Minnesota player takes a tumble. Teddy Becker trying to drive around his own teammate, but Benjamin planted his feet at the blue line. And Minnesota lost possession as a result. Hellquist lost the handle. Gets it back for Becker. Teddy Becker for Minnesota. Passes it up the wing. Minnesota needs to change. Cheasson. Pass off target for Rindeau. Long range shot from the line. Tipped. Great save by Ludovic Lachance. You want to talk about goaltending performances? Ludovic Lachance is doing just that. Absolutely outstanding from the young netminder. He has stymied this Minnesota team. He allowed the first goal, but it's been perfect since. Here's Sweeney looking to change it. His shot blocked off the tailbone of Jackson Danton. Now Zach Silva's shot is blocked. Sweeney around the boards. Desjardins. Bouchard trying to make a heads-up play. Now it's Theo Pare with Bouchard. He'll dump it in, but it rights the top of the glass and out of play. Face off to the left of Tanner Brick. The face off corralled by Minnesota. Sweeney, great play off the boards. Here's Maverick, White one-on-one. He'll shoot. Lachance with the save. Face off will be to Lachance's left. Face off won by Montreal. Almeida around the boards. Sweeney held it in. And on the line, Lalonde took a bump, but Almeida picks it up behind his own goal, wraps it around the boards with force, but again held in by Sweeney. Now loose in front, they score! Charles Kelly. Minnesota finally answers back, and now they trail by 3. They needed that one. It's now 5-2 Montreal as Minnesota looking to make it a game. Here they come again. Benjamin on goal, kicked away by Lachance. Goes from the second period. Denton with a pair in the game. One in the second, one in the third. Gab Manette with 2 in the second. Christian Gallup also adding to it, but the recent goal looks like they've given it to Louis Sweeney. Chipped off the boards. Minnesota player taken hard into the wall. Delayed penalty against Montreal. And Minnesota will, for the first time since the first period, or since the early stages of the second, I should say, are going to get a power play. Christian Gallup called for boarding. Minnesota with a much needed power play. The face-off is won by Minnesota, thrown to the line, and losing it is White, but Bouchard almost got around him. Kelly skates into the zone with 20 seconds gone in the power play. Around the boards to the line. Sweeney offside. Face-off just outside of the Montreal blue line. Minute 28 left in the power play for Minnesota, just their second of the game. Montreal went on 4 straight power plays and scored on 3 of them. Sweeney from the line, blocked, cleared, but kept in by Thang. Mason Thang tried to throw it across, he fanned on it. Thang gets it back to the line. Sweeney waiting. Now over to Harrison Guff. Thang. White. He'll shoot. Lachance just got a piece of it. Montreal counters the other way. Olivier Desjardins dumps it in. Minnesota with 40 seconds left on this power play. They need one big. Mason Thang weaving in. Thang around the back of the net. Thang to White. He'll shoot. Just missed. Looking top right corner. Montreal clears the line. Thang pressured by Denton. Thang again into the zone. But Kelly too far ahead. He'll wheel it back. Thang pickpocketed by Denton, but White will take over. Puck's up in the air. Set down by Roy. Fired back in by Louis Sweeney, and the power play is officially done. Minnesota 0 for 2. A massive penalty kill for Montreal. Here's Denton with 2 on the game. Denton. Hard hit into the boards, penalty. Coming to the machine. Power play number 5 for Montreal upcoming. And it's Eli Hellquist. Body checking the call with 9:06 left. Face off to the right of Brick, won by Montreal. Shot comes well wide. Chip back to the line. Sear's going to hold it in. Sear into the corner. Behind the net, Gallup. Gallup looking in front. Picked off by Minnesota and cleared. Minute and a half remaining on the Montreal power play. They've scored on their last 3 of 4. Good job by Zach Silva to pin his man along the wall, and that will force Montreal to retreat and regroup. Gallup drops off for Paquette. Gallup in the corner to the line for Sear. Across Desjardins, right to the right side. Brick the save. And another penalty to Minnesota. Christian Gallup was, no, they're going to give it to Gallup. Gallup called, no, offsetting penalties. Zach Silva with the hit, Gallup with the slash, so offsetting penalties. And it will stay 5-on-4. So Montreal's going to stay on the power play. So offsetting penalties. Here approaching the halfway point of the third period, still 5-2 for Montreal. The face-off won quickly and covering quickly is Tanner Brick. Face-off to the left of Brick. Off the draw, Montreal trying to pick it up, but Liam Roy could not. Backhanded out of the zone by Mason Thang. Fired back into the zone, but Montreal with the late offside will be forced to touch up. And this will give Minnesota an opportunity to dump it down. 35 seconds left on the initial penalty to Eli Hellquist. Pass to the left wing, intended for Roy. That's out of reach. Back to get in and whacking it is Renner, just enough to get it out. Sear. Tap pass, nobody there. Still in at the line, Liam Roy. Looking for Jadon Milan, was broken up. 10 seconds left in the power play. Minnesota will dump it down, and that will do it as Montreal, for the first time since their inaugural power play, will miss this time around. And we're back to even strength. Mason Thang, swing and a miss with 7 to go. Charles Kelly pressured here by Alec Bouchard, and he'll pick his pocket momentarily. And now on a turnover, Kelly almost found it. Decker Benjamin blew a tire. Charles Kelly into the zone. Kelly can't shoot. Cheason looking to clear. Played up for Sio Pare. Pare centering pass. Now controlled. That was Jackson Danton, who's on hat-trick watch here in period 3. 6:19 to go. 5-2 Montreal. Braden Liu banked off the boards. What a pass! Just onto the skate of Easton Silva. What a fantastic pass by him, though. Easton Silva to the line for Liu. Under 6 to go, long range shot. Scooped up by Ludovic Lachance. Zach Silva and Christian Gallup step back on, and they're going to throw Gallup right back into it. Montreal putting Gallup back out for this shift, fresh out of the box. Late change for Montreal. Face off to the left of Ludovic Lachance. Being asked to step out is Ty Paquette, who has been strong here today. Montreal moves it out. Gallup. In he comes. Gallup fires it in front, broken up by the Minnesota D. Clear off the boards, but not out, held in by Sear. Behind the net. Gallup getting support here from Rando. Wrapped in front, what a save by Brick. Lost his stick, another shot, they score! Tyler Paquette. The 4-goal lead is restored, and that just might be enough for Montreal. We talked about how Paquette was having a strong game, and he finds the back of the net. And Montreal with some cushioning, back up by 4. Minnesota looking to make things interesting, though, with 5 left in period 3. Hellquist down low, Wetterbrand. Beautiful drop pass for Charles Kelly. Skating around, taking a shot. Ludovic Lachance just got the toe out. Oh, man. That one almost caught Lachance out of sorts, but he does get the toe on top. 4:48 left to go in this exciting game here in Montreal. Face-off won by Minnesota. Kelly, quick shot. Backhanded just wide by Mav White. Pass to the middle. Danton with the hat trick, looking for the third. Here is Danton for the hat trick, denied by Brick. Danton again across the line. Danton in. Tried to look Bouchard. Cross ice. Poked on goal. Stop made by Tanner Brick. 4:10 left. And a delayed penalty coming to Montreal with 4:06 left. Minnesota heading to its 3rd power play. Two minutes for interference. Minnesota on the power play with 4:06 remaining. A Montreal kill would all but solidify the W. To the line, Sweeney holds, fires, blocked in front by Olivier Desjardins. Back to the line, Sweeney holds the line. Sweeney shoots, just goes wide. Quarter of the way through the power play, cleared out by Liam Roy. And now Lalonde looking to chase down Mason Thane here. Thane staying on his feet. Sear fanned on it. Now he'll get it up for Lalonde. Jane Lalonde all by himself. He'll shoot and just miss. Collision along the wall as Zach Silva colliding with a Montreal player. And play will be whistled down. That was Sio Pare that went down hard into the corner. One minute left in the power play for Minnesota. It's their 3rd of the game. And play was down on a hand pass. 3:01 remains. So Montreal, if they hold on in regulation, will automatically jump to second place heading into Saturday tomorrow and could find themselves with finishing first place in round robin. They got a big match tomorrow as Montreal taking on Sweden at 11 o'clock. With a win, they could very well potentially take over first place, but First Class Alberta also no action tomorrow. They will take on Battery Hockey Academy in the final game of the round robin. At the line, Montreal can't quite clear. Long range shot blocked. Another chance, Kelly sent that one wide. 5 seconds left in the power play. And Montreal will avoid danger, and they'll move it out. 2 to go in period 3. Fired off the boards as Louis Sweeney holds it in. Not for long though, Montreal sending it down. This is going to be icing against the Kings. 110 seconds left. 6-2 Montreal. Face off to the right of Lachance, who has had a spectacular game. Shot blocked. It was Wedderbrand that took the shot. 100 seconds. Moved out. It's Roy. Out in front. Bouchard could not pull the trigger. Up the wing, Guff pushed off the puck. Battle along the wall. Still digging around. Official telling them to move. It comes free. Back to the line. Fire back in by Decker Benjamin. 1 minute left in period 3. Montreal leading by 4. Brought back in, Wedderbrand. Wedderbrand driving, backhand, Lachance to save the rebound. Oh my! What a stop by Ludovic Lachance! Lovely in Stade Montreal. Have a game, young man. Ludovic Lachance flashing the leather late. 48.4 remaining on the clock. The face-off won by Montreal, but they lose it behind the net to Becker, spinning, firing. And that one somehow stayed in play. Flipped up the boards. Alexis Rendon with a nice move. Rendon is in. Cross ice. Oh, what a save by Brick. 30 seconds left. A backhand side of the goal. Brick once again covers. Face off to the right of Tanner Brick. Face off won by Minnesota. Played up the wing. Zach Silva with 15 seconds left. Dropping it off. And trying to clear it off the glass, but it goes out of play with 10.3 left. And there will be a new team in second place. A dominating performance from the Kings. One last face-off. One last chance, broken up. There's a new second place team, LA Montreal, undefeated no longer. Minnesota has been handed their first loss at the hands of the Montreal Kings. 6-2, your final. Ludovic Lachance and the Montreal Kings have pulled it off. And the Kings are now in second place. What a morning it has been here in Quebec. Coming up next, the Canadian National Anthem for the winning club, Montreal Kings Academy. What a win for the Montreal Kings Academy. 6-2 winners over the Minnesota Machine. They take over second place. They draw the same record as Minnesota, but now take over second of 4 for playoff positioning, setting up a big game tomorrow against Tordon Hockey of Sweden. That'll do it for coverage of this game. Coming up next, it's Stuyhouse and the Quebec Hockey Club, a double dose of Quebecois hockey. Here as we continue our Day 4 coverage of the 2026 Continental Clash here in Quebec.